Just stop complaining. It's very easy. If you can't stop complaining, just ask yourself, is your situation really so bad? If you think for a bit longer and you open your mind just a little bit to think about other people around you, you will notice that, yeah, maybe your situation is hard, but it could be much more difficult. And you actually don't have a serious reason to complain. Hi, I'm Kinga and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a bit like me talking to myself in the mirror because so often I don't notice that I complain so much, where in fact people, if they would look at my situation, they would say that what I'm going through is what they would want to go through. That all the problems I face are the problems they would like to have. You see, there are awful things happening in the world, like hunger, wars, lack of employment, or possibility of education. And you complain because you have to apply for jobs and go to university? Just think about it for a moment. How lucky you are that you can educate yourself, that you are able to work, because some people don't have that possibility. You so often only look at yourself. In Polish, we say that you only look at the end of your nose because you are so self-involved that you barely notice someone else. Whenever you have a chance, try to stop yourself and before you complain, think if what you have is such a burden, okay? Or quite the opposite, because maybe it's a blessing that you were given in form of time, energy, and ability to face anything you're currently going through. I feel like you are just used to complaining because there are toxic people around you and your brain just got used to the negativity. Where there is no excuse for complaining without the reason, maybe try to cut the contact with those people. I used to be in the point of life where I started being very positive, and it was even difficult for me to get mad over minor situations. But with the time, when new people appeared in my life, my mood swings started changing and I became again very grumpy for no reason. That's how strong the exchange of energy between the people is. People around you influence your life and your behaviors, and do not take it lightly. Maybe you didn't notice that yet, but I was given a possibility to detach myself from those people again, and I started being calm again. Of course, it takes a lot of time because when I started cutting off people for the first time, it took me about 8 months to get to the stage where I have calm mind and there's nothing that can bother me to the extent that I'm not sure how I will deal with it. Can you imagine 8 months of meditation, journaling, and going many days talking to maybe only 3 people? That's how serious I started taking my energy. I changed my life 180 degrees at that time. I went from easily irritated and struggling to going to the gym every day, eating healthy, and having time for my passions. All that because I stopped giving away my energy and I actually kept it for myself. All of a sudden, I had new business ideas coming to my head. You can do that, but only if you stop complaining that everything is so bad and you just get to work. Those toxic people in your life won't cut off themselves. What's more, they will probably stay until you're useless to them. I know sometimes it's hard to stop contacting people you've known for maybe 10 or 15 years, but you have to trust your intuition and make a decision. Another thing that I noticed when I stopped complaining and got to work is that my intuition is so much better. I call it intuition, but truly it's just our subconscious thinking analyzing situations for us. You have to get back in contact with your subconscious thoughts because they help so much in making decisions, especially the ones that can turn your life around. So many things can happen when you finally stop complaining. Your days are filled with more positivity and all of a sudden you have energy to do what you actually planned. It's because positivity brings more positivity. And I don't mean it in the way that you cannot ever be sad. You need all the emotions, and there are no bad and good emotions. All emotions are good because they are part of our being, but don't let negative thoughts turn your life around. Always remember that you have that list of goals you wrote at the beginning of this year. You have that Pinterest board visualizing the life you want to live. You have so many things to do. Always remember that the difficult situation is temporary and don't let it stop you from going forward, okay? Also, you know why you complain? Because you can. If you really have to do something, you wouldn't complain. If you would really have to go to this job, because otherwise you wouldn't have any money to live, you wouldn't complain. Or if your family would be dependent on it. Listen, at the time where I was scared that I wouldn't make my next rent, I didn't complain that I worked every day of the week because I was either studying or I was working. At the time where I didn't have a choice but to move by tube from flat to flat because I was alone as a student in London, I was not complaining. Maybe I cried 10 times that day, but I didn't complain because I couldn't. I knew the situation would be only more difficult if I would do that. Complaining won't change your situation. It can only make it worse. So if you look at it from this perspective, there is really no sense in complaining in your situation. Also, at every situation, you can look from two sides because there is always positive and negative aspect to situation. It's on you which side you choose to look at every day. You can elevate your life just by thinking differently. You can complain that you didn't get that job, or you can think that something better is coming. You can complain that every person you go on a date with is turning out to not be the one you want, or you can think that the longer you wait, the more time you have to be better for that special someone when they appear in your life. You can complain about everything, but believe me, you can also be happy about everything. I know it's hard, especially for our generation as Gen Z, because there is so much expected from us, but just remember, just like everyone always says, okay, maybe your parents, oh, the times were different back then. You have the same right to say that. So if someone else thinks that they know better about your situation that you're facing and only you know what's good, just tell them. The times have changed and move on. They will never be you. So take your own fate in your hands and decide for yourself, because living someone else's life will make you take your regrets to the graveyard. And I personally prefer to regret something I did rather than something I didn't do. Our life on this earth is very short. So you have to make the most of it, and for sure you have to live it for yourself and not anybody else. Look at every situation as amazing possibility to experience something new. If someone tries to make fun of you for making certain decisions, remember that there is something called mirroring, okay? Which is literally looking for the same flaws we see in ourselves in others. Our brain does that subconsciously. If you keep that in mind, your whole perspective on negative comments and others making fun of you will change, and the only reaction in your head that's really gonna appear is gonna be, poor them, they really have to not like that particular part about themselves. Listen, I talked to my friend once and they made comment about how I look. I didn't really react to it. Short after, they asked if I'm not touched too much by what they said. And I literally responded, is your comment going to change how I really look? They said no. And I just said that they're entitled to their opinion. I think it surprised them. You see, when you're calm and not complaining, and you take care of yourself so that you're not easily irritated, you give space for other people to speak their mind, to be themselves. That's how you really get to know them. If you get mad about every single thing someone says, those people won't be honest with you. They won't be themselves because they're like stepping on eggshells around you. Give other people space to be themselves and don't complain too much. That's how you can really start knowing someone and start having deeper connection with them. That's all on complaining today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. This week's format is a little bit different because I wanted to record something I would say to myself, and I wanted to find literally an outlet for the thoughts that were occupying my head. Let me know if you would like me to talk about any other topic, and if you like this form of video. See you in a week. Bye!